Today, two teams go head-to-head on one of the most controversial questions of our generation. Star Wars Rogue One. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Ben and Heidi versus Heather and Kelly. Face off.
Bring it on. This is war.
The story, it worked. It told you the story that people were wanting to know, how they got the Death Star plans, and it did a good job of that. It tied it up nicely. It introduced a brand new set of characters. The acting was pretty good. It was pretty nice looking. The Darth Vader part, that was awesome. It wasn't perfect. So overall, I thought Rogue One was pretty good.
I went to the theater on holiday weekend, and it was a madhouse. We bought 9 tickets to Rogue One. I was so excited. We walked into this theater. It is packed beyond belief. We cannot find one chair to save our lives. It was like, I've never seen anything like it. Finally, we find 7 seats, and that's it in the whole theater. 7 seats. We bought 9 seats. I had to share a seat with Megan. Poor Megan. We had to kind of squish into the same seat. I'm starting to get crabby. I'm like, great. So then the movie starts, and for the first half of it, it's like, what is this? For one thing, it's all fighting.
All I hear is anger and rage. I don't know.
But I will concede that the last 2 minutes with Darth Vader, that was beyond coolness. That was awesome. Okay. But for the whole thing, I'm like, everybody died. And I can't even remember anybody's name except maybe hers. I don't know, maybe.
The thing I appreciated the most about Rogue One is that you get a break from all these cool, epic characters that you get to see in every single movie, and we get to celebrate the unsung heroes. Yes, I also walked out of the movie only remembering Jin's name. You know, I have some problems with it too, but at the same time, I actually appreciated that all of them died, because sometimes movie makers do not have the guts to do that. I appreciated that they actually were willing to make it more realistic. You're not always going to have a happy ending. I appreciated Rogue One. I thought it was true for the Star Wars story that it was.
Okay, the reason why I didn't like it was lack of character development, illogical things and plot holes that happen, like blowing up your own planet because someone might be taking your plans. It makes no sense to blow up your entire library of plans and your blueprints and everything you might need and then just blow it up. See, this is why they lose, because they don't act very smart. So I thought that was illogical and not really realistic. I actually don't mind the fact that everyone died at the end because it was a nice, epic ending. But I felt like they don't mean as much to me. They're just a face on the screen. The movie didn't slow down until the very last 5 minutes. They were passing on the plans, and people were dying to try to get away from Vader, and that's when you felt it. Like the movie never slowed down before then. You just need to slow down just a tiny bit. Because felt no real personal connection when they all died, even though it's sad. But like when I was sitting in that theater, I was in the front row, it was dark, and when that red lightsaber came on, I felt fear. And that's exactly what they were trying to do.
I really like the scene with Darth Vader, except that may have been one of the scenes that did not make sense to me as much, because when the guy's standing there like, open the door, I'm like, chuck it
It was detracted from the fact that we didn't know what their names were.
The reason you don't know people's names, or part of the reason, is because they don't say them very much. I know it's a movie, you have to do it differently in real life, but in real life, if you're trying to figure out somebody's name just by listening to their conversations, it's hard to figure it out, because they're not like, yeah, Heather, and I went down to the beach, Heather, and,
Also because they didn't speak very much, because most of the time they were shooting at each other.
There was not that much shooting.
Half of it is expectation. I was expecting so much, and then everything mixed together. I was like, I hate this movie. Why were we here? Why did we go on a holiday weekend? What were we thinking?
The thing with these Star Wars movies is there's these big expectations because of the original movies, but they can't live up to what people are wanting. Force Awakens, they made it like the Star Wars
movie. That's like a remake of Episode 4.
Yeah, it is. See, when they make it like them, they say, oh, it's the same as the other ones. And when we make it different, they're like, oh, it's not the same as the other ones.
Star Wars wanted to give you this. They not only got the plans, but they got the whole planet blown up. And I'm like, if this planet was not blown up, they would have lived. And if the only reason the planet blew up was that the Empire dumped people sometimes. I mean, why would you... Okay, they might have escaped with plans. We're gonna blow up all our other planets. But you needed them to die logically, and blowing up the planet and killing all of them was very illogical. That's why they lose all the time, I guess. That bugged me. They killed all of the scientists. We have the biggest machine ever that's gonna go around and destroy all of these planets. I'm gonna kill all the top scientists who actually know what's going on with this thing. So not only did they blow up the plans for it, they were also gonna blow up all of the scientists who could actually fix the thing.
Well, but they never cared. When did they ever care for people? They never. I mean, Darth Vader kills his own generals. He doesn't care.
But that's not a matter of caring about a person. That's a matter of, I've got a weapon that I need to maintain, and I'm getting rid of the plans and the people who can actually fix it. No,
yeah,
that's not smart. Jin, what was her motivation for joining the Rebel Alliance? Didn't she at first kind of sound like she blamed them for her father's death?
Anytime a character's watching someone close to them be tortured or be mishandled by the enemy, like, that starts to grow her dislike of them. I wouldn't say that there's a point where she says, yes, I am now for the Rebel Alliance. But I think that's natural for a lot of things in life. You see evidence and evidence and evidence, and eventually you say, okay, now I'm gonna drive towards this, whatever that may be. So that's kind of what I saw with Jin.
Jin, I felt like there should have been that moment, that quiet moment. Every movie needs a quiet moment. The movie didn't have any quiet moments. Even while she was watching the message, she was just transfixed. There was no thought process in her face.
Well, right after that, when the guy's running in there, he's like, come on, come on. She's just sort of like sitting there thinking. She's not even thinking about the fact that the planet's blowing up. She's thinking about this.
But what is she thinking?
But we see what she's thinking later. It plays it out. We don't have to know right then.
While she was watching the video, she realized her father hadn't betrayed her. He was really trying to save them, and she finally has a hope.
To find him.
At first.
But then it changed. But when did it change?
When he told her to go find the Death Star plans, that he's dying.
Someone you love might tell you to do this. Is that all you need for you to decide that you're gonna go kill yourself? And for what purpose? Was it because she's gonna fight just for her father's sake, or for her own sake, or for the other people's sake? I think the bonding moment where they want you to feel like, okay, they're all in this together. They're gonna go get those plans, and they're gonna save the world. I think they try to forge this moment when Ray, or what's her name? Jin. When Jin goes, hey, let's do this, and you're like, yeah, that's not fair. She's the wrong one.
She was giving that speech because her father had told her that our only hope is to get these plans. And she was trying to get them to believe that it was real.
I felt like we never got that moment of when it all came together.
They had Jin and her beginning when she was young.
Yes.
Then they had Cassian, and when he
murdered somebody cold blood.
Right. It's character development. It's showing you who he is and what he's become. Yes, exactly. But that's the point of it. He becomes better as the movie goes on.
And in his actions, in what way did they change progressively? So
when he's focusing on Jin's father, he has the opportunity to kill him right there. Yeah. That's his mission. But this is his moment of decision to see, will he judge based on what is good or what his orders are.
Okay, that's a good point. I'll concede to that. Cassian had a thinking moment. Did Jin ever have it? If you took away Cassian's thinking moment, don't you think that you would have lost something?
Well, yeah, but this is a place where I disagree, is they don't have to have a moment of decision, even for every single main character. Jin's life was never stable. And not just Jin's life, but the captain's. Until the end, it wasn't this, I know what I'm doing, I'm on the right path. It was more of a running hopelessness. So I think that the movie reflected that.
Your life may be that way. If that's a question that you're honestly asking yourself, that's when people stop and say, okay, where am I going? What am I running to? Why am I doing this? Even when they're traveling from planet to planet, you could have had those moments. You need to see the light turn on.
For me, I would still say it was a natural progression of, okay, I'm figuring it out along the way.
They sacrificed things to put in fighting throughout the whole movie. Like what did they sacrifice? This little thing called character development. You don't know any of these names. I'm glad we bought this poster, because I'm like, I'm talking about this person, or this person, but I don't know their names. What draws people to a story is not about the shooting, it's about the people. Well, we never really got to know this cast of characters that well, at least Jin.
When Cassian's explaining to Jin, this is what I've been fighting my whole life for, he's basically setting himself up to say, if this was all for naught, then my whole life was a waste. And how discouraging is that? And just because of the decisions she made, we saw where she ended up.
You never saw that human struggle. It's like she made up her mind, but we don't know when, we don't know how, what was the logistics. And you still can't tell me when it all came together for Jen.
I did tell you.
But she was watching the message?
Yes.
That's your only thinking moment. You need more.
I think the coming together moment is like right after they've had the meeting with the whole Rebel Alliance and they've been told, don't fight this. That's when they all come together and say, we're going to do this. And honestly, I would say that's the quiet moment of decision to say, we're going to see this through.
What is the Star Wars film as a whole? It's an action movie with good characters, with good character development. Do they need to be the exact same characters? No, that would be boring.
They
And
wanna
4,
be
5, and 6, you knew the characters and you did care about them, even though they were kind of grouchy a couple times.
Will somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way?
You still want to keep that Star Wars feeling because that's what it is. This is tied in with the rest of the storyline. So
I disagree with your premise about what this should be. I feel like they were purposefully breaking away from this Star Wars feel.
But why do you call it Star Wars?
That's because they were trying to make it different. They're trying to say, we don't want to have to stick to this feeling all the time. We want to make a separate movie.
I totally agree with Ben. They try to break off. That is their flaw.
Yeah, the premise for Rogue One is good. How did they get the plans, and what about those people who got those plans?
Yeah.
It wasn't anybody who'd say, let's do this. If you wanted to make a Star Wars war movie, that's fine.
That's
but you
kinda what
do
they
not do it under the Star Wars banner, because Star Wars films are not war movies. They wanted to make a war movie with a Star Wars
This is
name.
not a
Printed
Star
on it
Wars
so
film.
they could get
It's
billions of
a
dollars
Star
in the
Wars
box
story.
office.
They're gonna make whatever movies people want to watch, and people wanted a movie like this.
Did anybody hear about the CGI before they watched Rogue One?
No.
First thing at Tarkin looked kind of CGI-ish once I knew about it, but first time I watched it, I didn't know, and I didn't even notice that it was CGI.
The first time I watched it, actually the only time I watched it, but I watched it, like, his face kind of moves funny.
Yeah.
His face was almost like rubber or
Yeah.
something. It's like, what?
You look too
What?
closely at
I know that first scene.
We were the
you
one
saw
who
was
knows
so
about her
weird.
eye makeup.
But it's hard not to notice that with the humongous screen, like
That's
hilarious.
hard to notice Target's rubber face.
With Tarkin, I'm like, that actor's gotta be like 2 million years old. There's no way he's alive, because he was in episode 4! And he's an old man in episode 4!
I did not
So I
see-
thought these got animated.
I wasn't thinking
It's a
about that.
bother
I was just more like, oh cool, there's a character I know, you know? You have to say something bad about it, and you have to say something good about it.
It's character moment.
The consistency of inconsistency with the Empire. They have Death Star 1, Death Star 2, and Star Killer Base. Seriously? They didn't learn by now? When they blow up their whole planet, there's still a consistency and inconsistency there, because it's like they hire the smart people, but then, like Keenan was saying, they killed them all off.
I agree with you about blowing up the planet. They didn't even know that they had a flaw. When they destroy the first city with the Death Star, the way it like slowly and then they're running away, they're running, they get in their ship, start flying away, and all of a sudden they're barely behind.
Just convenient.
Convenient. Since when the stuff slowly move up and then sort of sit there in the sky. And I thought the Death Star beam from inside was like the swirly thing with the green thing side of it. It looked like something they make in the 90s or something. Also, I disliked Cerberero, is that his name? Black guy. The entire movie, at first it seemed like he's a big part, and he seemed like a really important person, but like what was so great important about him? I didn't even like his character.
And why did he have to stay?
Yes!
He's like, I'm not gonna run anymore. Why not?
Yeah.
You're about to die.
They came up with a lot of things. That means we have to come up with a lot of things too. Well, the most obvious is the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, Darth Vader's very first scene. That was awesome.
They did Darth Vader well.
Yeah, like he was cool.
You feared him. The robot. That's true.
so
The robot
awesome.
was funny. The best character. I like the robot.
The robot and I think the bond between the robot and casting was good.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. Today we had Kelly, Ben, myself, Heather, and Heidi. In the description below, we'll put down links to their YouTube channels. Heidi is a voice actress. She has a demo reel, so be sure to check that out. Ben has a YouTube channel, so make sure you take a look at his stuff. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you later.
Go.
I'm so glad there's like nothing in here. That would be terrible. Okay.